Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Giver. It's another Wednesday, and we're back with the beautiful Courtney King and myself. I'm
The
beautiful too.
beautiful Melissa Valliere. I always want to say Melissa Bum. I felt very weird doing this last week without you, Mel, but it
People
was
loved
good.
it.
Once I
People
got
loved
rolling,
it.
it felt comfortable, but I was not like at first I was a little nervous. I don't know why. I think it's just I
I'm the
feel like you're my comfort a little bit, even though I
n-
still get kind of nervous doing this.
no.
But
I'm the same. If I'm like alone, I don't know what it is. I'll just start like I get really hot, and then I start kind of looking at myself, and I'm like, wait, what? Who am I talking to? Like, what am I doing? It's just so unnatural. You know what I mean?
I know, and it's funny because I was like looking at the YouTube of my recording and my face got fucking like bright red as it was going on because I got microneedling that morning. So like when I
Yes.
first started my face looked like shiny but like normal color-ish, like a little more red. And then as the episode was going, I was like a legit tomato. It was just like white tomato. But it's okay.
Your skin looked amazing, though.
Thanks, Mel. Yeah, I actually love that treatment, that microneedling, and I didn't know you did it.
Is that the first time you did it?
First time I've done it. It was microneedling with like
Radio frequency.
yes, yeah.
Oh, you did. Did you do Morpheus?
No, it was not Morpheus. It was legit
Oh,
the microneedle. I did it at Revive. So they don't have the
yeah,
Morpheus
no.
laser.
Oh, I didn't know like another. I mean, I'm assuming another company does that too, but
But I want to do
yeah,
the
no,
Morpheus.
it's the same thing though. It's microneedling with radio frequency.
Oh, that's what it is.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I thought it was like this different thing. I know it's like kind of trending right now,
It's
but
so trending.
yeah, I know. But it looks, I mean, it kind of, yeah, it's the same concept, right? Like they stamp your like face and just kind of with needles, small needles, right?
So did she like stamp your face and then go in with like a tool that was injecting radio frequency, or was it like all in one?
It was all in one, but I was numbed first and all of that, but it was all in one.
And do you see a difference like today in your
I see,
skin?
I feel like my skin, it doesn't look like I have freckles, right? Like on my forehead, on my nose, like on my
Hmm.
cheeks here.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like more even. I'm not even just saying that. Like it looks like more like the same texture.
Yeah.
Not texture.
Color?
Yeah.
Tone?
The same tone. Hmm.
Yeah, I want to do it because I have like I don't know what it is. Like there's a really red dot here, and then I have
Mm.
some like dark spots. I'm assuming from me popping pimples.
Yeah.
And I just
Mm.
I I was on TikTok, and I think you know that Ariel Laurie girl or
Yes.
Lore, I
Yeah.
don't know how to
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
her name.
She's posts
She
all her procedures and like all her
Oh my
skin
gosh,
stuff.
I love her. I feel like she's so upfront, and I respect it and appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
But she was doing, I think it was called Fraxel laser, and
Yep.
they just do it not all over your face, but just on the areas that are like hyperpigmented that you
Yeah.
need to get rid of. And I
Yeah.
kind of want to like go to Sandra and be like, "Can you just like target these like 3 areas?" Cuz
Yeah.
every time
Just
I take a picture, every honestly, I Facetune them, I'm not going to lie. I just like erase them on my
yeah.
Facetune, or if I'm like wearing makeup, I'll put on concealer on those 3 spots. But like, why don't I
Yeah.
just get them removed? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's from like previous like acne or like sun damage.
Well, it's probably both, right? Because I'm in the
Yeah.
sun a lot, and I
Yeah.
I do know if you pop a pimple and you have any sort of scarring, and then you are exposed to UV, it's gonna make a dark spot.
Yeah.
So these two are from that, but this is it's red. It almost looks
Mm.
like it should be a scab, but it's
Yeah.
flat. Maybe it's
Okay.
like a burst blood vessel or something, which
Ooh,
I'm
yeah.
assuming probably can't be fixed by a laser, but it
Yeah.
bothers me so much. I just want her to see what she can do.
Does Sandra do lasers or like needling or anything? Or
I
does she,
don't think they have microneedling. They have the Morpheus machine.
oh my God, you should
Um,
do that.
I know I'm thinking about it, but okay, full disclosure, I have not
Yeah.
been wearing sunscreen for the last
Yeah.
a long time, and I
Yeah.
just ordered some.
Yeah.
And I have retinol to start too, but I don't want
Ooh.
to do the laser or the retinol until I have my sunscreen like in my drawer,
Yeah.
because there's no way that I'm going to start doing that stuff to my face and not have protection on my skin.
Yeah.
And I I think my sunscreen is supposed to be delivered tomorrow, so then I'm gonna start like doing all the things because
Yeah, that's
I
good.
feel
I wanna
I
start on
feel
a
like
retinol.
I'm good. Well, your skin still looks like a baby skin though.
No, but when you get up close, like, I promise, like, I have fine lines, like, I do, I definitely do, like, lighting and all that shit, definitely, I do, and my
I
pores
feel
and
like I look like an old lady, you know what I
no,
mean? I'm
you
like
do not.
I need to stop going in the sun because my skin is just going to be so angry when I, hit my late 30s.
Yeah, I mean, the sun is, like, the biggest thing, but it's also, like, healthy for you, but depending on the time of the day you're out there, right?
I was
Like,
just going to
morning
say
sun.
in my morning walks,
Yeah.
not going to wear sunscreen because I do
No.
still want to have like my skin exposed to the sun
How
free
early do you go
sometimes.
to Mel? You go early.
Well, it's funny because you know how you're talking about morning routines?
Yeah.
I need to change mine because right now I'm waking up, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm having water, I'm having glutamine, but I'm having coffee probably 20 minutes after I wake up
Mm,
and I'm sitting on the couch and it's around 6 in the morning and I'm watching TV and I'm cuddling with the dogs and I'm waiting for Ian to wake up so we can go for a walk. And then by the
yeah.
time Ian wakes up, it's been like 3 hours. It's like 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
And now I'm tired because I,
Yeah,
number one, had caffeine way too early,
right.
unnecessary.
Mhm.
And number two, I'm sitting around not doing anything. So I need to wake up and go outside right away.
Yeah, and that morning sun, like, those rays or that light or whatever is, like, so good for your circadian rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I need to like get on that because it's the last couple. I mean, I've been exhausted for like 2 weeks, so I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
It's interesting, even this morning, so, like, I get up, I, like, have my brush my teeth, whatever, tongue scrape. I fucking love that thing. I go have
Me
my
too.
water. Yeah, it's the
Uh,
best.
We went to Windsor and I forgot my tongue scraper for 3 days, and
Yeah.
I was so upset. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the drugstore and buy one. I was
Yeah.
devastated.
They're
Yeah.
amazing. So I do
Mm-hmm.
that, whatever, go out, have a coffee, have a freaking matcha, whatever it is. Even though I've been gravitating towards coffee lately. This morning I went to the dentist early because I went and got my teeth cleaned and I had like a checkup exam thing, whatever. And I didn't have coffee for literally like I can't do it this long. I can, but like 5 hours. And I had it around, I don't know, 2-ish, like after I got home and whatever, whatever. And I have like so much energy right now. And I'm supposed to get my period. And I'm usually like dead. Like my period's supposed to come tomorrow. So the days leading up, I'm just like a fucking zombie. But right now I'm kind of like too caffeinated. And I'm like, holy shit, I guess this is kind of what it does when you just like prolong your caffeine consumption. Cause yeah, you're right. First thing in the morning, which I love, it's like a ritual. But if you could like wait a little, me too, then you have
Mm-hmm.
it. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
you just will have more natural energy throughout the day, you
Yeah.
know? But
I have to like start exercising some self-discipline and just changing the routine.
I completely agree. I admire Melissa, you guys, because her bedtime routine and her like ability to like wake up though in the morning is pretty fucking phenomenal. Since I've known you, you've like put yourself to bed like a baby, even if everyone's up shooting the shit at like 9:30. She's like, okay, this has been fun, but I'm literally going to bed. And I'm like, wow. But I feel like your sleep hygiene is fucking spot on. Money.
Yeah, but my intensity for my night routine is so ingrained. Timing, stopping eating before,
Yeah.
washing my face a certain way, brushing my teeth a certain way, reading a book, like being in my clean bed. Like I'm so routine about it. But the morning, it's like a shit show, which is weird because I feel like in the morning you actually have more energy to your prefrontal cortex. So it's easier to be disciplined. You have
Right.
more resources to actually make decisions that you want to make. And I'm
Right.
just like, oh, I'm up so early. I have so much time to relax before I have to do anything. And it's so bad. I hate it.
No, I don't think that's necessarily bad though. And honestly, I've actually listened to that Ariel girl talk about how her night routine is more
Mhm.
important than her morning routine. She's like, I love my morning routine and what I do in the morning, but like my night routine sets me up for the next day. And I just
Mhm.
like feel like if that's off, or if I'm out late or having late dinner or I'm eating late or I
Mhm.
don't do XYZ, like my next day is a little bit fucked.
Mhm.
And so I think nighttime routine, excuse me, is just as important, if not more, really, when you think about it.
No, I agree completely. I will never I the way I wake up is the most important thing to me. If I wake up and my mouth is fuzzy because I
Mm,
ate badly
same.
before brushing my teeth, or if I didn't sleep, or if I didn't sleep well, or if I feel like grimy, I just
Yeah.
my whole day is off.
Yeah.
But there is something to say for like waking up and rehydrating and getting sunlight before
Yeah.
I inject caffeine into my system, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so
I
I just
know.
and it's it the other day, I was we ordered coffee, and I came out and I had 2, and Ian was like, "Oh, you got me one, that's so nice." I'm like, "Yeah, you're welcome." And he's like, "Can I have a sip of yours?" I'm like, "Sure, of course." We're driving to my parents' house. I'm like, "Yeah, you can have a sip." And he sips it, he's like, "Why don't you just have milk with sugar in it?"
Literally, Christopher says the same thing. He's like, "You're drinking fucking sugar milk." And I'm like, "Shut up. No, it's not." But he's like, "You actually don't like coffee. You like literally milk coffee, like not even real coffee." Like, I'm not a
Mhm.
true coffee drinker, can drink it like black. And I'm like, "Ooh, the
Mm-mm.
taste, I taste the different notes." It's like
Mm-mm.
wine, you know? Some people are like hardcore coffee connoisseurs. But
Yeah.
like me, I'm just like, meh. I totally agree. I'm like, give me all of the freaking milk and
Creamer.
creamer and stevia and monk fruit and fucking electrolytes. I put all this random shit in there. I don't even know what I put in. I make a little concoction. I switch it up all the time.
I've been listening to Fast Like a Girl.
Oh yeah. How do you like it?
Well, I had to start listening because I've been fasting for probably 5 months,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
the first like 3 to 4 months I felt great. Like energy, hormones, everything. My cycle has been very strange for the last like no, probably only 1 cycle, and my cycle is very late right now. I'm honestly thinking I'm
Mm,
missing it, or I'm pregnant. I don't have no idea.
stop.
Um
Shut up. You guys, you're gonna hear it first. Baby Valliere on the way.
I
Oh my
doubt it.
god.
I
She's there's
it's
no
not
point.
impossible, but I doubt it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I started to kind of think about my eating, and I was like, okay, I'm not feeding up enough or at the right times or with the right foods. So then I started listening to her book because I was like,
Mhm,
something's not like working right here.
mhm, mhm.
And I started thinking about my coffee drinking, and I'm like, shit. Because fasting sounds so sexy when she talks about it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
it does.
36
Yep.
hours and reset your immune system and like autophagy and all these things. And I'm like, oh, yes, I'm going to do this all. But then I'm like, oh my God, I probably can't even have coffee creamer for it to actually be a true fast.
Okay, I've heard like mixed reviews about this. Like black coffee with like some MCT or like a splash of whatever I've heard is like, man, it's not gonna like completely break your fast, but at the same time, it's calories, right? So you're like,
Hmm.
does it break the fast? But some people believe like that it's like liquid. It's not like a solid food. Your body has to like digest and like break down. But I don't
Yeah.
really know. I've heard conflicting things with this, with like,
Fr- I'm not done her book yet. I don't even
yeah,
know if she talks about, I think she does on in one chapter that's coming
she
up,
does. Yeah.
tells you how to fast and then what breaks it. But I do, from what I'm understanding so far, is that the different purposes of fasting.
Mhm.
So if it's for weight loss, I have a feeling having coffee with a bit of creamer is still going to keep you in your fast.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to do like an immune system reset and
Mm,
actually get like the cell turnover and the detoxing, she's calling it a water fast. So
yeah,
I'm
no.
assuming
It's
to have your body get to that stage where it's going to start to really like heal and
mhm.
detox,
Yeah.
I'm assuming then the coffee and the creamer would be a no. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, you're completely right. You're completely right. I know, like, because, yeah, she talks about it. Like, 24 hours, you get this. And then if you do a 48-hour one, you can tap into autophagy. And then the 3-day one, your cells are turning over and you're resetting your immune system, which is really cool. Like,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I feel like the pendulum swung to like fasting, 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 keto, like it was like the big thing, right? And now it's
Mhm.
like kind of swung back the other way where it's like you have to eat breakfast, you'll mess up your blood
Why
sugar
is
if you don't.
why is that happening now?
You
I
see
keep
that, or
seeing
is it just me? No, you
No,
see
I
that,
keep
right?
seeing all these, like, beautiful young fit girls, and all
Yeah,
they're talking about is like, "Oh, now I wake up hungry and I'm eating and now I'm healthy and my hormones are better," and almost like shaming fasting. And I'm like,
right.
"What is going on?" Like, this is
Yeah.
so extreme.
Exactly. But again, like a few years ago, just last year, the year before, it was really hard into like fasting and autophagy
Mhm,
and cell turnover and anti-aging and all these
mhm.
things. And now it's back to like, you have to eat breakfast within 30 minutes of waking up, or you're going to like totally fuck your blood sugar throughout the whole day. And I'm all for like your first meal when you break your fast. Like, you do a huge smoothie. I don't know what you have now, but I remember you used to do like
Uh-huh.
tons of berries and like a lot of protein and like
High
all the like
protein, high
antioxidants.
fiber. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like that's how you should break your fast, high fiber, high fat, high protein.
Mhm.
But I don't honestly, like for me, I really do. I truly believe I listen to my body most of the time. I don't wake up starving. I do not wake up. You wake up at fucking 5:30 in the morning. I doubt you want to go slam like some eggs or a shake at 6 a.m. Like that sounds kind
It
of
I'll tell you
repulsive.
this, if I ate a fuck ton of carbs and sugar the day before, I 100% do. But
Mm,
my and I think that's because my blood sugar is very like I'm sensitive, you know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
So on a normal daily basis, I'm not eating a lot of carbs and sugars. So no, my blood sugar is pretty even all the time and I
Yeah.
don't wake up starving. But if
Yeah.
I do have a day where we've eaten high sugar, high carb, I do wake up the next morning and I'm like fucking starving.
Right, right. And I think it's just like I totally agree. And this is where like it comes down to like really figuring out your body cuz sometimes um like say the day before like my meals weren't really balanced or they were a little bit sporadic or like I didn't really eat throughout the day but then at night I kind of ate a lot and I don't usually do that anymore because I talked to my doctor about this and I sometimes I would go to bed and I would wake up the next morning and I would have these really intense heart palpitations. And I'm like, this is fucking like where I could like feel and hear my
Yeah.
heart melt. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just like, oh, my heart's beating a little like fast. And I told my doctor about it. She's like, you need to like eat something to stabilize your blood sugar before you go to bed. Not doesn't have to be dirty or bad or shit food, but just eat something
Mhm.
to kind of like stabilize your blood sugar because that's like a little bit of a blood sugar irregulation. And I notice for me, like it really depends because sometimes if I am hungry or if I wake up later, I'll be like, okay, I need to eat. Or certain times around when I'm ovulating, I do. I like just tap into it. But like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I'm good. I'm not forcing a fast. I'm just like, I don't want to eat right this second. I don't feel like eating a ton of food. So like we talked about this in an episode before where you just like really have to listen to your body and just because one person eats breakfast 30 minutes within waking up and one person likes to like prolong their breakfast a little bit doesn't mean like one or the other is best for you. You just kind of have to figure out like what you like or what you don't like, right?
W
And
w
I don't know. It
I
just
I I agree completely, and
yeah.
now it's very it's very toxic when you see someone and they're saying, "If you feel like this, you are unhealthy." That to me is a huge red flag because nothing is that black and white.
No.
And what I keep
Mm-mm.
seeing on TikTok and Instagram is these girls saying like, "If you wake up and you're not hungry, your metabolism is broken." And that is so
That's
false, and they're saying this and putting this in the world, and I don't want some girl to see this and be like, "Oh my god, when I wake up I'm not super hungry. I must have metabolic damage." That is not true at
no.
all. Like
No. No.
it's
No, no,
not
no,
that
no, no.
simple. It's not black and white. It's not like this equals this. So if anyone is speaking like that on their Instagram or on their platform, just take it as a red flag that it's probably not accurate and just move on with your life because
No,
it's nothing is that simple.
no, I completely agree. And especially because like so many people nowadays get their advice or their tips or like what they should do from influencers. So I know you and me, like we never want to like tell people what to do. Like we
Mm-mm.
truly just share like things that have worked, maybe things that haven't worked, but I don't want someone to walk away from this and be like, oh, well, Melissa and Courtney fast, so I need to fast, like no, that
No.
literally might not work for you. So you just got to like figure out what you want to do. But just because you hear something, like you said, Mel, and it's, if you like the example, like if you don't wake up hungry, that doesn't mean you're broken, and that doesn't mean you have a fucked up metabolism. It doesn't. And nothing is that
No.
like black and white at all.
No.
So
Not
yeah,
at
I
all.
don't know. It's interesting. How have you been feeling with like social media?
I don't even know. I feel like I'm not on it.
Yeah, you're not. I really fucking respect that about you. And I really love that. Do you like
I,
ever
I
really like scroll or not really? Like maybe you kind of dabble, but not like,
if I'm looking for something
okay.
like curly hair routine
Yes.
or dyeing my hair or skincare, I'll
Hmm.
go look, and then I might end up on like a scroll train, especially if I go to TikTok to like look for curly hair
Yeah.
routine, and then the algorithm gets me. But I'm never I would never pick up my phone because I had a spare moment of like nothing and start scrolling my feed. It's usually if
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I would like to look for a new hair product, or I would like to look for a new facialist, or like I'm usually
Looking.
seeking information
Hmm.
or resources.
Yeah.
If I if I have spare time, I'll usually read my book or watch TV or like clean the house. I'm not
Yeah.
That's never something that I do.
Yeah.
Um, I try really hard if I'm in the car, like waiting, or if I'm in the grocery store and I'm waiting in line or something, to not
Mhm.
do that
Do it.
because
Yeah.
it's just like gross. Like
It's
I feel
so
like
gross. It's
if
I'm
I
sorry. I do it and
if
it's fucking gross. I need to
I
just call
know
myself out. It's so gross.
I know if I was a 50-year-old and I was standing in line and there was someone in front of me and they couldn't even wait in line or wait for the person to scan their groceries without like looking at their phone, I would be like, "What is wrong with you?"
Yeah,
But
no.
there have been times where I'm so not present that I'm in the grocery store and I'm doing that. Like, ew,
Yeah.
that's
I
I try really hard not to do that.
yeah. I I have tried really hard, and then I've like fallen back into like the little algorithm, and I'm thankful that I do not use TikTok. I have a TikTok. I don't go scroll on TikTok. Like I don't really go on TikTok at all. I think it's just like too much stimulation for me. It's just like a lot. But I do that on Instagram. So it's not like one is better than the other. I mean, they're
No,
both
no, no, but
very
I do think
stimulating.
it's very self-aware to know that if you were to go on there, you would be trapped. Ian will
Oh,
never get it,
no.
never, because he knows he's similar to you.
Yeah.
If he starts that, he will be lost in it. Whereas like
Yeah.
I don't I have I don't really care. I'm not going to lose myself in the TikTok, but if I were
Yeah.
someone that could, I would, because TikTok is actually it's a trap.
Yeah.
It's a
It's like a drug.
time-sucking trap. Yes.
Yeah. Where like you just get in and then you're just like, then an hour goes by, 2 hours, and you're like, holy shit, I just spent all this time scrolling, or I'm on this random person's page that I don't even know, looking at their life and their dog and their kid and I'm not saying that's like a bad thing, but I have really noticed, and I've brought this up so many times, like I have to be way stronger with the boundaries I create with my phone. I can't just be like, no, I'm not going to go on it. Cause like sometimes it's so second nature where like my hand will just go and I know
Mhm.
exactly where it is. I'm like, this
Mhm.
is gross, as you would say. This is not okay. So I like actually have to hold delete app. I have to. Or
Yeah.
it's just, I need to literally get it off the home screen. Because if not, I will just go click on it. And that's like not how I want to live my life. I feel way too out of the present moment. And I notice I do that when when I'm feeling like dysregulated or like
I was gonna
it's almost
I
like,
was gonna say when you're not
mm,
regulating and dealing
yeah,
with your shit. Yeah.
yeah.
Me
Then I'll
too.
just go do it.
Same.
It's
Yeah,
just like a
same.
numbing thing. Like, oh, I don't want to clean right now. I don't want to do the laundry and blah. Like, let me just go. It's just like a
Mhm.
distraction.
Mhm.
And it's not really how I want to show up in this world or live. it's like no one's going to remember your followers or what you post or this or that or when you die. And there's an app. Oh my God, I saw this app, Mel, where you connect your socials and it tells you, this is disgusting. I haven't downloaded this app and I want to make sure I word this right, but it pretty much tells you like how many days you take off your life. Like if you had, it gives you an average. Like if you were to live to like
Oh
85,
no.
well, actually, you're going to only live to 81 because you're spending 4 years over like this accumulated time on this app, which is
I
like,
can't.
that's so messed up to me. I didn't
Mhm.
download it because maybe I don't want to see the truth of the years shaved off my life. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be 30 in a month. But yeah, no, I need to really create some. I need to know. I know what I need to do. Just fucking hold, delete, and it's done. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think having like discipline with things make you feel better. Might be hard in the
Yes.
moment, like right, like maybe if going to the gym or walking or doing whatever or eating something beneficial for you. Like it might be
Yeah.
like hard, but it's worth it and you start to feel better about yourself, you know?
100%. It
Yeah.
builds, I think it builds confidence too and trust in yourself,
Mm.
which is so important.
I don't know if I talked about this on the pod, but remember how like when we were in Italy, I was like taking pictures of everything?
Mhm.
Did I tell you this? And then
No?
Christopher kind of was like a little bit like,
Annoyed?
not, I mean, yeah, like he wasn't like annoyed, like put your phone away, but he's like, babe, you have to take a picture of the sunset. Like, how about we just watch it together? And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with me? But he's right. And I was like, ah, you're right. But it's so pretty. But like, does it need to be documented? Like, I document like way too much. Like, I have like 120,000 pictures in my phone. That's like, what do you even have pictures of, Courtney? I don't know. I do.
Yeah, there's a balance. You take pictures of everything, but like I take
Everything.
pictures of nothing. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I had like pictures, you know? So there's
Yeah.
a balance.
But how have things with you been? Like, what's going on in your life? Anything new?
I don't really know. My life is like so chill. Like I feel like all
Yeah.
we do is like we go to our gym, we hang out with our parents, all three sets of them. We hang out with our friends and we hang out together and then we just that's just all we've been doing.
I love that.
It's very zen. I think we feel very like balanced right now and I'm very thankful that like we're here and, things
Yeah,
feel
that's
good.
like the best to feel like
Mhm.
that. It truly is. It's like better than anything to feel like balanced and just like happy and can just really content with like where you're at. You know, I don't
Mhm.
think there's anything wrong with that. I have not felt balanced at all. And it's made me feel like all the fuck over. And I just don't like how that feels, but it's okay. We're working to get balanced. But I want to ask you this because I'm thinking of it from the last Q&A I did. Did you listen to
Mm.
the last part about female friendships?
Yeah. I listen to it all.
Oh, I love you. Yes, girl. No, I know. You were like, fuck, I had to edit it for you.
No,
Um,
I don't have to listen to it to edit it, but I did. Of course,
oh,
I listened to it all. I'm like
oh,
curious. I'm a
yeah.
fan too. I want to
Oh,
know.
I'm a fan of you, Mel. I love you. But okay, what advice would you give girls our age in their late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s? I guess it doesn't even really matter what age. Advice with like female friendships, like how to create like really strong female friendships in your opinion, because I feel like you have some solid friendships, female friendships in your life, right, that you've been friends with for quite a long time.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with all three of my girlfriends. I only have three, but like I don't need any and you, sorry, four.
Yeah.
But I mean here. It's hard because like I've been friends with them for so long, but I do remember a time in my life where I kind of had to I almost said take out the trash. That's awful.
I
Um
mean,
I had to
whatever.
audit my relationships in my
Yes.
life and I had to go like I was listening to what you were saying and I thought it was very
Yeah.
powerful about figuring out what matters to you, what you want in a friendship and being super
Mhm.
clear on that and making sure that those are the relationships that you have in your life.
Yeah.
I think I got to a point in my like mid 20s, I had developed a very close relationship with my parents and I had been with Ian for few years and I started to kind of understand what it meant to feel safe with somebody, to
Mm,
feel like nothing is ever going to be used against you, that you say to
mhm.
them that if you're not around, you don't have to worry about them saying something that is going to hurt you in any
Yeah,
way or that's not
yeah.
true to who you are. And when I started to realize what that felt like, I started to become very sensitive to a few of the relationships that I had that weren't like that. So there were times where I would feel like I had to watch my back or protect myself, or I would hear that someone said something and someone didn't stick up for me and things like that. And I just started to
Mhm,
realize that I can't be close with people that aren't fiercely loyal. And I
mhm.
just really did some pretty big cuts and I never
Yeah,
looked back because it's just not worth it to me.
yeah.
I'm someone that is very affected if I feel like I'm not affected what if people that aren't close to me are saying nasty things about me or even like neutral things about me or a
Mhm.
bit judgmental.
Yeah,
It's not, and I'm not being dramatic. It's not big comments like, "Oh, she's a bitch," or "She's ugly," or "She's fat." It's not things like that. It's more little things like, "Oh, did you notice that Melissa does this now?" Or little
yeah,
comments that happen behind your back that really
yeah.
don't feel great. I had two very close girlfriends in my early 20s that I didn't really trust. And I kind of
Mm,
realized that I didn't trust them because I had built trusting relationships and I just decided to cut them out and I never looked back. And
yeah.
now the relationships that I have chosen to foster and to work towards, I think I've realized in my late 30s or in not my late 30s. Jesus. Not
Don't
yet.
don't time hop,
Not
Mel.
yet. In my early 30s,
Yes.
it's very important to put effort into your relationships. It's
Yeah.
very important to make the people that you care about feel like a priority. And
Mm,
just because you love them doesn't mean that they know you love them. You have to tell them, you have to show them. I think it's very important to be vulnerable
yeah.
to girlfriends that you want to be close with. I
Yeah.
think if you're going to be with your girlfriends and you're going to pretend that your life is perfect all the time, that you and your husband don't fight and whatever, and maybe if that's true, that's true, but to put on a front in front of people, you're never going to get a deep connected relationship. And
Yeah.
that's something that I've definitely learned and leaned into in the past couple of years. I think you have to really make sure people know that you care about them and that you want
Mm,
to spend time with them and that
yeah.
they matter to you. And I think
Yeah.
the more you do that, the closer that you're going to get to people. Um, but again, I only am going to do that with people who deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
that's like
I I think your question was more how to find people that deserve
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And that's hard for me to answer because I met these girls when I was so young, you know what I mean? Like
Wait, you're 3 solid girls now or the girls you kinda had to, like, evaluate and cut
oh,
off?
all of them, all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Like my best friend Ashley, I've known since I was 16.
Oh, yeah, you
Heather, I
have. Yeah,
met
duh.
Heather, I met her, I think I was 18 when I met her. Leah, I met at work when I was, I think, 21.
Mm.
So those were all very
You're young.
organic. Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
also more social. I was way more
Mm.
social back then. So
Yeah.
it's easy to make connections when you're younger. When you're older, it's probably hard
Yeah.
to meet someone that's not already in your life.
Right. Exactly. Like, where do you go to, like, meet friends? Like, I don't know. It's like, where do you and this is people ask this too, like, where do you go to meet, or find a partner or meet someone?
Yeah.
It's like, it's really hard, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
really I feel like it's really challenging nowadays to, like, find someone, I don't know, that you, like, connect with and, if they're not already in your life. It's very
Mhm.
challenging. Yeah.
I'm a huge like proponent of controlling what you can. And
Yeah.
in my mind, if you are being your truest, best version of yourself, you're going to be in a place to be prepared to make those relationships and meet the people that you want. So I would just
Right.
focus on that. And
Yeah.
the more that you are clear on who you are and what you want, the more you're going to attract those type of people
Right.
that
Right.
are meant to be in your life, whether it's going to be at the
Yes.
grocery store or at the gym or at a coffee shop. If if you see a girl and you like the way she's dressing, give her a compliment. If you like
Yeah.
her hair, ask her where she gets her hair done, things like this. And I believe if your energy is healthy and you are in a good place and you're your best version of yourself, your energy is going to attract
Yes.
people from those small interactions, if that makes sense.
I agree. Like when you are truly who you are, people will just start filtering in that align with like that version of you. I agree with that
Hmm.
completely. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
It can definitely be challenging though. But I also think putting yourself out there, which is I think like back in the days in like your early 20s and even my late teens, early 20s, it was way more easy to be social because like social media wasn't a form of like communication. We actually had to like talk to people and like, you know what I mean? Like go out of our way to like make friends or meet people.
Hmm.
And now I just think like so many people are connected online that it's like they don't have real relationships in real life. I'm not saying everyone, but I think it can be more like normal. But I truly feel you need like real in-person relationships, like deep. Not saying you can't have that with someone like long distance, like I am with you,
Yeah.
but it's it's more challenging. It is. You have to definitely like make an effort. So it's just putting yourself out there. That's the tip, guys. Just put yourself out there and create that energy by being that energy, I guess, to attract those people in your life, to attract those friends and those relationships.
Want to get to these questions? It's already been
Yeah,
55 minutes.
yeah, let's get to them.
These poor people heard us talk about nothing.
No, they actually like the long answers. They said. I'm like, okay, thanks, guys.
Okay, so this says, can you talk about having children in your 30s?
Mm-hmm.
Time management, traveling, their dad's career, which I'm assuming is our husband's career, family, and our plans when our husbands retire from competing. Do you want to start?
Yeah,
It's kind
I mean,
it's like a question, but it's not really a question.
yeah. Let me just try to answer this the best of my ability and like kind of what I'm feeling. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Christopher and I will have kids until he is actually done competing. No, I don't think I know. That's not happening. It's not going to happen. And if it happened, it would happen and I would embrace it. But like, I'm not trying to get pregnant in the next
What
2-3 years.
can I ask who came to that decision? Was it both of you together? Was it you? Was it him? And why? And how you came to that decision?
Honestly, I don't think we like came to that decision like, oh, we are not having kids. Like, honestly, if it happened, it would, like I said, we would embrace it and it would be like amazing. But I like straight up competing and like his competing career, it takes, it's very time consuming, right? They're very in, they're locked in. And I'm not saying he can't be a present dad, but even Christopher has said, I don't want to have kids and compete. I don't want to do that. I want to be involved in my kid's life and not saying you can't have children and compete. There are tons of people who do it. There is a lot. But like Christopher and Iain have already been competing for like what, 10 years? Like
Oh my
a
god,
decade.
they both started so young. They
Yeah,
both were successful so young. Yeah.
right, like a decade of
Mhm.
their life. So kind of like
Mhm.
when you and yeah, you could as a man and as a woman, I guess you can keep going decades upon decades. But speaking for Chris, not that I want to do that, but what he's told me is he does not want to have babies while he's competing. Granted, we have talked, and if it happened, we would embrace it. But it's not something I'm trying to do. Like, I need to get pregnant. Like, no. And honestly, I'm really glad. I always thought I would have like this plan of when I would get married, when I would have kids, all these things. And the plan has not gone accordingly, like at all. Like, I'm not getting married in my 20s. I'm not getting pregnant in my 20s. And I'm just also learning to like lean into it and like not really overthink or stress, Like,
Mhm.
I do, granted, no, I don't want to push it so far where I'm like, 38, 39, 40s and be like, okay, let's try to have a kid.
Yeah, stressed about
No,
fertility.
no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to be like, woo, like not have a game plan. Like I do like structure to an extent, but not structure to the point where like it's got to happen on this day and this time and, by this deadline. I'm just like, okay, the goal is to start having kids in my early 30s. When will that be? I don't know. But I'm not really
Mhm.
stressed about it. I think it's very normal now too. Like for women to have, no, it's not. I don't think I know. There's like a statistic, excuse me, where I think it's like 50% of women by the age of 30 do not have babies.
Mhm.
Where back with our, like when our parents were having kids, that wasn't really probably like an accurate statistic. Like it was,
Mhm.
people got pregnant earlier. And I just feel like, I don't know, like it's okay. I mean, what do you think about this? Like you're 32, right? You're 32 or 31?
Mhm.
You're 32.
32. Mhm.
Okay. Talk to me about, I know you've like talked a little bit about fertility and like you're looking at your eggs, which I know you've done, right? Like
Mhm.
you've mentioned this. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but like, how do you feel about it? And how do you feel if you got pregnant right now and Iain was like, I'm competing for 2 more years? Like, obviously you wouldn't be like, oh, no, you
I
can't.
um I used to be like you. I used to be very firm on the idea that I wouldn't have babies until he was done competing.
Yeah.
Um for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, having a child while your husband is on cycle is different and more difficult.
Mm,
Um my husband competing is takes up a lot of his mental energy and his not necessarily his time. And I found it interesting when you were talking and saying that he's like competing is like almost a hindrance, but I feel like Christopher's professional life is much more demanding than his bodybuilding career. He
yeah.
so
Yeah.
like Christopher competes once
Depends.
a year. You know what I
You're
mean?
right.
Like
No, you're right.
if
You're right.
all Christopher did was compete, I don't really see that being a hindrance to having a baby. His professional career 100%. Um which is why I kind of have changed my idea of my
Mhm.
life a little bit because I was very black and white before. I was like, I'm not having a baby while he's competing. Bodybuilders are selfish. They all they care about is when they eat and when they sleep and when they train and like kind of nasty to be honest. And now I see my husband in a more accurate light. And I'm like, well, wait a second. Like, he has way more time and way more energy and way more resources to be a dad than the average man who has to work 40 plus hours a week and who's stressed about money and who's stressed about time management. And I also have a husband who stays quite emotionally like in tune and available,
Mm,
even when he's getting ready for a show.
yeah.
But I don't think I would want to have a 6-year-old while Iain is a bodybuilder. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Um, but I do think having a newborn, a toddler, while Iain is still competing is totally fine. And honestly, it might happen for our lives. I don't really know. I
Yeah.
don't, Iain doesn't have a timeline on his career.
Yeah.
I don't want my fertility or our want for a child to put a timeline on his bodybuilding career. I want that to be his decision when he's done, when he wants to. I want him to have everything he wants. If that's a kid now and competing now, then I want to give that to him too. So I don't, I think everyone's lives are so different and you
Mhm.
know when it's right for you. I don't think it has
Mhm.
anything to do with your age um, or even your financial status, because for me what I want financially to be comfortable to have a baby is probably completely different for what someone else wants to have.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would just urge women to do what they want and what's right for them and their husband, because it's going to be different for everybody. And it's probably it changes even for me, right? Like
Yeah.
at one point I was like, no, not until you're retired. And now I'm like, well, no, my relationship is and my husband and me, we're in a place mentally and maturity wise that it doesn't really matter if he's still competing. Like we're ready. We would be ready to have a baby now. I'm not
Yeah.
going to now because of life and your wedding and all these kind of things. But do I think that next year I'll be ready to start trying? 100%. And
Yeah.
there's no way Ian's going to be retiring next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
No, for sure.
it's things are, I don't know. I used to be so rigid in my decisions. And that's why I
Yeah.
was smiling when you were saying, like, I wanted to get married in my 20s and I wanted
Yeah.
to start having
Yeah.
babies by the time I was 28 and all these things. And I used to be so rigid. And now I'm kind of like, well, why do I think like I have to think like that? Like
Yeah.
everything is going to be fine no matter what, as long as I have my, mental health and my finances and my security in check. I really don't need to like worry too much about it. I don't think.
Yeah. I think when you try to control more stuff, like I said, you can have structure and a game plan or like a rough, like, okay, maybe by 34 or 35, we can start trying Ian or whatever that looks like. But I don't think being as rigid, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie, like what you said about like Chris's like business, it takes up, I mean, yeah, he's very busy. He travels a lot. He's kind of like pulled in 100 directions. He has like a lot of different companies. He's doing a lot of different things. Yes, he only does one show, but when he does that one show, he's pretty like any competitor. Ian's locked in. Chris is locked in, but Chris is like, how you said Ian kind of has like his emotions don't really like change.
Mm-hmm.
Where Christopher will kind of like go like into like a just kind of like a zone in where like he shows up.
Listen,
It's a little
listen,
less intensely.
yeah, and I respect that, but I also know who Christopher is as a man, and if he had a baby, like he would still be an amazing dad 12 months a year. Those 3 months
would.
of prep nothing would change, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't make his prep harder. It really wouldn't. I don't know why we tell ourselves these things.
I
You know
don't
what I mean?
fucking know either. I don't. And I forgot we were talking about something not last night, but the night before. Where this will be saved for another podcast, but we were talking about like, hopefully I say this word right, monogamy and like why women wanting more like emotion and men being more like I'm not categorizing men and women here, but like men are kind of more designed to plant their seed and da 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 da. And it's just like we got into this really deep conversation. It was actually great. We can save it for another time, but it kind of led us into this whole like baby talk and getting pregnant and like kids and all these things. And he made a comment and he's like, it would be cool to have like you and like a brand new baby on stage at the Olympia. I'm like, okay, well, that's not happening this Olympia. And I mean, maybe next after we get married, but we'll see. We're not jumping there. And yeah, I don't really know how long he's going to compete. I don't. So it's just kind of,
No, like
it depends.
As we shouldn't. We can't tell the future. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. I think we get like so rigid in our thoughts and like we label others and we label ourselves and we do these like self-fulfilling prophecies and these confirmed biases where we're just like, well, when he preps, he's like this, so we can't have a baby. But like, that's not really true. And there also might be a prep this year where he's not like that anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah,
we
you
all
never
grow
know.
and we evolve and like who we are to our
Yeah.
core, it's never going to change. And who he is like a very loving, caring person. And who it's completely plausible and fair that maybe you guys will wake up one day next year and be like, wow, our life is really ready for a baby, and I'm not ready to stop competing yet, and that's okay too. You know what I mean?
You're right. You're right.
I think
I agree.
I feel like I used to think I've said multiple times I'm not going to have a baby until he's done competing, and I'm like, why did I even think like that? What did I think that was going to save me or something? Like, did I think that was going to like make everything perfect? Like, I don't know. I don't fucking care. Like, it's just crazy.
Okay, but let me ask you real quick, Mel. Is there a timeline like you want to start trying like next year or no? Or are you just kind of like, no, I'm not like, obviously you got your IUD out. You're like we talked about that, like birth control, you're not doing that anymore, but
I
are
was
you just kind
talking
of
to
like,
I was
whatever?
talking to Ian's sister about this because she is a type A and she's a very successful person. Whatever she wants to do, she does it and she does it well. And when she decided she wanted to have a baby, she started tracking, she did it and she got pregnant right away. And it was
Yeah,
just like,
boom.
and she was like, when you decide you want it, like you're going to do it too. I know you are. And I was like, I don't think so. I really think I'm probably just going to continue to live my life, and maybe I'll stop being careful one day and maybe something will happen, and that's just
Yeah,
kind of what it is. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I
yeah.
think both Ian and I really don't like to feel something that's like beautiful and special to ever feel like pressure. So
Right,
I
right.
just I don't know. I feel like I've changed and like leaned a lot into peace over the last like 6 months. I've had
Mm,
to be honest, but I'm
yeah,
very thankful for it because I don't have very much stress and pressure in my body and in my mind anymore for anything. And it's just like
that's
whatever
fucking
happens,
beautiful.
happens.
I love that, Mel. That's just like such a freeing feeling, really. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like even we were talking about like immigration and me going to the
Mm,
Olympia and all these things, and Ian's sister was like, "I'm so excited," and then she kind of looked at me and she's like, "Oh, like, do you want me to talk about it in front of you? Like, I don't want to make you feel badly." And I'm like, "No, please talk about it in front of me. I want you to have fun. I want you to see your brother on stage. Like, I hope I
mm.
get to be there, but if I'm not there, that's okay too. Like, I'm actually like just so okay. I don't know. It's
You feel
crazy."
like it is what it is almost. Like you can't really change it. So like why you have two options, right? Like stress and try to control and freak out and yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't have motions of feeling sad or whatever, but also like kind of like let go, right? And like that's where the peace
Well,
comes.
no, I can feel disappointment, but like
Sure.
me as a human, I want to feel like happy. And
Yeah.
I do believe that we start to think that like outside things are going to bring us the happiness and joy that we
Mm,
want, but I think I get to choose to be happy. And
yeah.
if I just continue to choose that, then it doesn't really matter what happens. Like,
Yeah.
of course, there's disappointment and there's frustration and there's insecurity. And like, I have all those feelings too, all the time. But I do usually end up like putting my head on the pillow at night and still like rooting myself in gratitude and joy. And
Love that.
it's just making like outcomes not feel as dire or as
Mm,
like detrimental to me.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that honestly includes having a baby, because that might not happen too. I don't know. I can,
Mm,
even when I was like trying to go to fertility and I was like, I want to make sure everything's okay. Like everything could be okay. And then when you try, it couldn't work. Right?
yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when we stress ourselves out more, we like overthink or we're like trying to control again. It's just like, it just, why live in that state, you know? Like
Yeah.
just, yeah.
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 What about when he does retire? Like what's
Mm,
that look like for you? Like your life probably won't change very much. Is it just like maybe you spending more time with him?
yeah. I think it's like spending more time and slowing down together. Together. I'm
Yeah.
definitely more in slow mo than he is, obviously. It's,
Mhm.
he's definitely like more pulled all over the place. And like, even like last week, he got home 3 nights around like 10:30, 11 p.m. just from being
Oh my
out,
god.
him filming a video. Uh, yeah, it's just, yeah. And you don't really get to spend a lot of time. So for me, I think the biggest thing with him would be like quality time together
Mhm.
and slowing down. Like, I think that's going to be the thing that changes the most,
Mhm.
honestly,
Yeah, for
whenever
sure.
that time comes. What about you guys?
I just want him to still feel purposeful and fulfilled. That's
Mm,
all. Like
yeah.
I don't think our like we spend 16 hours of quality time together a day. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're pretty spoiled. If anything, I think
Yeah.
once he retires, that might actually go the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I just want him to still feel passionate and fulfilled in whatever
Mm,
he decides to do.
yeah. That's
And
important for anyone in
yeah,
life. Man, woman,
yeah.
yeah, to have that sense of fulfillment is like it gives you something to work towards. Not like materialistic, just like
No, no,
whatever it
no.
is. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a purpose to your days. That's very
yeah,
important. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
you can't just live off like nothing, like even financially. Who cares? Like you can't just live every day and not really have a purpose.
Yes.
That's not healthy.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's thrown around some business ideas in the last like couple weeks. He seems like pretty optimistic, which
Yeah.
is something that you need to kind of plan for the future. So I don't know, I'm excited for him. I hope that he gets to continue to bodybuild for longer because I know he's not even near finished yet, but
Yeah. And he's
yeah.
young. For a bodybuilder, Ian's young. Like
Mm-hmm.
men don't really hit their prime till what, like mid 30s, little bit creeping into the not late 30s, but like
It's yes, but there are other factors, right? Because same with Christopher, like yes, he's young in terms of like a bodybuilder and the age where they peak, but there is also time under tension, right? There's like time, the amount of time that you have been competing, that you have been
mhm.
training this hard, beating your body up, using PEDs. Like you
Yeah.
can't do that for 20 years straight. The
No.
guys that are peaking and that are like 38 and they're still going, they haven't really been competing since they were like 19 years old.
Right. They
So
started in their late 20s, early 30s. It's
yes,
different.
exactly. So I don't know. You never know. Just as long as they're both, Ian and Christopher are so health conscious that I'm sure it's not going to be too long, because even if like, you know, they still feel healthy and markers are still good, they want to stop while they're good. It's not like they want
Yeah.
to stop when the markers go to shit.
Right.
So
That's yeah, it's your quality of life. So
yeah,
I
for
yeah.
sure.
Was there another part to that or was that it?
There's another question, but it's already been too long, and the
Yeah.
next question
We'll
will
get
be
to it.
the next question will be way too long. So we'll
It's
just
and
do it
my like
next week.
and my it's like getting darker in this room and like do I
Yeah.
look
Why
like it's like I'm like it's dark, right? Like you
is it
can
raining outside or something?
no, I'm just sitting in a dark room and at first when we were recording it was really bright and then it's just slowly has gotten darker.
Oh, is it late? Oh my god, yeah, it's 5 o'clock.
It's 5, yeah. So, whatever. We'll close it out. You guys, thank
Oh,
you. Yes.
we want to start doing like an
Yeah.
advice segment at the end of every episode. So this could be you asking tips on how to train, how to eat, how to create a fulfilled life, how to, I don't know, fulfill your man, like literally
Yeah.
whatever you want. And then at the end of every episode, we'll probably pick one and we'll
Yeah.
just kind of go into depth of like what we think. And again, this is like, we're just talking to you guys based on our life experience. It's nothing
Yeah.
else. It's life experience, and it's coming from a place of like love and personal experience, not from
Totally.
this is what you should do and we know best. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
For
So
sure. Or give us like a
please,
scenario, like
yeah,
like a specific scenario, like whatever it might be. Like, hey, this happened with my guy and I don't know what to think because he's liking this or he's over here or maybe you feel disconnected and he's impressed, whatever it is. Scenarios are fun too because we can like break it down. We won't share your
yes,
name.
or like
We won't
it'll
like,
be anonymous for sure.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Completely top
Or
secret.
like, my mother-in-law is crazy, like how do I deal with this, or anything like
Yes.
that, like please.
Yeah.
And we
I
will
love
like,
those.
yeah, we'll do our best to like give you good advice.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
guys. Well,
guys.
thank you so much for being here. I'm glad I'm back. I felt weird not doing one last week. I felt like I
I
was like
know
playing.
you've done one you haven't stopped.
I felt
Solo
like I
with
was playing.
Ian.
I felt like I was playing hooky. Literally, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get fired.
Oh no, Val. Yeah, but yeah, no, you're back. You're back in action. You might be doing a solo later on in the next few
Mhm.
weeks.
Mhm.
We'll just swing back and forth. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. We love you so much, and we will see you next Wednesday. I don't know why I'm
Next
saying
Wednesday.
next Wednesday. Bye, guys.